Anthony, do you know CPR?
I do, but sadly I let my certification expire a few years back. How about you?
Well, I had to take CPR classes back when I was a camp counselor, but I took it with my fellow camp counselors who were all sighted, so the training I received didn't really adequately meet my needs. And I know there's a lot of people that can feel overwhelmed in medical emergencies, not really knowing what to do or how to help, which is exactly why the Ottawa Paramedic Service is running a CPR awareness campaign targeted at every member of the community.
Their goal is to ensure that more members of the public know how to help in case of a cardiac arrest, increasing the chances of survival.
And we want to share those instructions with you. AMI's Dave Brown has more.
When it comes to helping out in a medical emergency, I'm woefully underprepared. Especially now with my parents getting older and my sister having a baby, I want to change that. Being low vision makes CPR classes a little bit intimidating. Thankfully, the Ottawa Paramedic Service offers adaptive teachings, which shows you inclusive techniques when it comes to CPR.
My name is Liam Vandenbroek, and I'm a public training officer here with the Ottawa Paramedic Service. We're going to be showing how someone with low vision can perform CPR on someone who is having a cardiac arrest. We're going to be using descriptive instructions and landmarks on the body to help those who are of low vision to perform the necessary compressions and to get things started and ready for paramedics.
Well, we're here in the garage with Liam. We have mannequins set out on the stretcher. So Liam, in an emergency situation, what's the first thing we should be doing?
So right off the bat, if someone is making commotion saying, oh my gosh, someone's on the ground, they're not moving, you can take the initiative to see if they're gonna wake up or not. So to wake someone up to see if they're maybe just having a nap or if they're truly unconscious, we wanna make both loud noises with our hands and our voice, or even physically stimulate the patient using your hands and tapping or squeezing the shoulders.
So if now we find that the person is indeed unconscious, what's the next step?
So it's the next link in the chain of survival, which is early 911. Using a cell phone or a landline, dial 911, ask for paramedics, and tell the dispatcher what's going on. The dispatcher will walk you through how to assess someone's breathing, right? When someone's unconscious and not breathing, that's when we need to start CPR. The first thing you want to do is you want to tilt the patient's head back. So on the patient's head, you can feel for the nose, you can put one hand underneath the jaw, and of course above the nose, place one hand on the forehead, and you're going to tilt the patient's head all the way back, right? This allows the tongue to be removed off the epiglottis, so if they were not breathing, they could be breathing now.
Okay.
While the patient is in this position with their head, you're gonna place one hand, right? You're gonna feel for that shoulder again, move 2 hand lengths down, find the lung. And with that being done, put your ear towards their mouth. So feel for the nose, feel for the mouth. You're gonna put your ear towards the mouth. You also wanna be looking towards the chest or have your face facing the torso, because we also want to see if we can see the chest slightly rising or not. And you're going to look, listen, and feel for breathing for no more than 5 seconds. It's a very quick assessment.
Now, in a circumstance where someone is not breathing, then what happens?
So then we go into the next link in the chain of survival, and that's early CPR. CPR, also known as cardiopulmonary resuscitation, will help us manually circulate the oxygen through the patient's body while we wait for that paramedic unit to come help us. And how do we do that? We want to make sure we landmark first. We want to make sure we find either the armpit line or the nipple line. So find the top of the shoulder, going down to beneath the armpits, and moving and making an imaginary line towards the center of the patient's chest on the sternum, that hard bony part of your chest, or the nipple line as well.
Now do we actually start the process of CPR?
We do, and it's all about proper setup too.
Okay.
So when you found that landmark, you're gonna take the heel of preferably your non-dominant hand, but it could be either hand in any way. We're gonna use the heel of our hand, right, where the arm ends to meet the hand and the base of our thumb. You're gonna place that in the center where you had that, where we had that landmark, right? And then you're gonna place your other hand either directly on top of it or interlocked, doesn't really matter, as long as you're helping apply pressure to the patient's chest. Get directly over top of the patient, making sure your arms are nice and straight, and you use your upper torso for the body strength. And what you're gonna do is you're gonna start compressions. So you're gonna go into 2 inches into the chest at 100 beats per minute. So fast forwarding a little bit, after 2 minutes, right? When you start to become exhausted, at the 2-minute mark, we ask you to switch off for someone who's a little bit less tired than you are and who are more able to perform. Or if you are feeling comfortable too, every 30 compressions, you can also check for breathing. But the main priority in someone who's having cardiac arrest is those compressions, those nice, deep, effective compressions.
I switch spots with Liam to try out my newly learned skills. So I'm starting with my hands near the shoulders, moving them down to the armpit line or the nipple line, and then having them meet in the middle of the chest on the sternum. Put my hand over the top, get my arms nice and straight, and begin compressions.
Good job. We want to keep the hands nice and level, the arms nice and straight, and we want to use our upper body. That's great. Good job. That's how we get the maximum compression depth when we're providing CPR.
I really appreciate you taking the time to share this information with us today.
It's our pleasure. That's what we're here for, and we're always willing to take that extra step further to help teach those who are scared of doing CPR to how to do it.
Well, now that you've taught me, let's practice a little bit more. Let's do a few more compressions.
Go right ahead.
Good job, Dave. Nicely done.
Liam was great too. His instructions were so clear and easy to follow.
They really were, and it's important to note that all of the CPR classes offered by the Ottawa Paramedic Service are inclusive. So even though Dave got a private, described lesson, all of the OPS instructors are able to adapt classes for people who are blind or low vision, or people who have varying levels of physical abilities.
That is important to know, and Dave also mentioned that if you're not capable of doing the CPR compressions yourself, you can always help by calling 911 or instructing bystanders.
If you'd like to find a CPR class in your community, just get in contact with your local paramedic service.